Hi, Sandy.
Hi, it's Dave.
Hi, it's Kirk.
Okay, so before we kick into today's video, just a quick disclaimer for anyone that's never seen one of our channels before or videos before. Andy and Kirk have no idea what the video is that's coming up. I do, as I'm hosting the video. We will not pause. We will not talk during the video, but we will share complete honest feedback at the end. It will be completely unabridged, unabbreviated, honest feedback from us, whether we like it, don't like it, but we'll try to be concise and constructive in our feedback. Without further ado, let's go check out today's track.
It's just a reason to deny all the limits that border on the thinnest frailties that makes a sudden change. I'll play my soul into sleep. I'll make up words that I keep letting nothing go to anyone. Where is your loyalty now? When all the cards have been left on the table. Where is your loyalty now? When all the cards have been left on the table. All of them bleed at the nerves that take so long to wear down. I'll play my soul into sleep. I'll make up words that I keep letting nothing go to anyone. Where is your loyalty now? When all the cards have been left on the table. Where is your loyalty now? When all the cards have been left on the table. This time I have made enough mistakes for you to bear against me. Endure and break our original ideals and let us down and betray our trust like all your promises. I say a piece of shit alive in you. Cause there is none to be this time I have made enough mistakes for you to bear against me. Endure and break our original ideals and let us down and betray our trust like all your promises. Where is your loyalty now? When all the cards have been left on the table. Where is your loyalty now? When all the cards have been left on the table.
Oh, starting again. Don't start again. No. Okay, there we
That's what it
go.
was anyway.
You got to see who it was right there at the end. So, a band called American Head Charge, which we have mentioned briefly when we were talking about Dillinger Escape Plan the other week. I think we were talking about them around that same era kind of bands. And the song was Loyalty. Kirk, do you want to kick this one off?
I was trying to guess who that was until obviously the text came up at the end. So straight away, you know, it's between 2001 and 2004, I would say.
I think 2002, I think it came out.
Same with the production as well. I don't think that music has aged well. That is, when you listen to it now from the point of view of a consumer of various genres of heavy metal, that is not heavy, is it? That music, those guitars are anodyne. I just think it's overproduced as well. Love the voice though. I think he was excellent, very charismatic, great chorus. Just don't like the production. It just reminds me of a point in time where the market for heavy music was so saturated. Major labels were just scooping up bands every week and then they put them on MTV2. Now, American Head Charge actually did have some success, and I thought they were more lumped in with Mushroom Head and Slipknot, if I'm right in thinking, when they came out. And since then, with it, yeah, because since then, I keep hearing people say, oh, they're ripping off Faith No More, Angel Dust. I don't hear any of that in their music. I've never heard any Faith No More in their music, but that could just because I've heard the MTV video singles. I wouldn't sit down with this band and listen to an album, so maybe I'm being harsh and uninformed there, but I've never heard any Faith No More in their music. I would like them a lot more if they did have that element. Again, another criticism, it takes the worst of both worlds. It takes the nu metal element. It also takes the lighter forms of industrial music. It just doesn't, it's just too packaged and formulaic for me. Other than the vocals, doesn't hit the spot at all.
Okay. Andy?
Hasn't happened very much this morning, but I kind of disagree with you a little bit, Kirk, to be honest. I had no idea who that was. When the caption came up at the end, it is a band I've heard of, but it's the sort of band that I would shy away from purely by the name.
Right.
And looking through Kerrang as it would have been back in the day, or getting a cover mount CD, I wouldn't go to that track because that name doesn't do anything for me. If someone said to me, I think you'd like this, Andy, check out this song by American Head Charge, like we've done this morning, I may have sort of warmed to it. I mean, I thought the guitars were pretty heavy. I think the vocals were fantastic. He's got a good range, a sort of variation there of styles, powerful and clear. The opening sort of riff, it took me a few seconds to sort of make the connection, but it sounded very much like Ruin by Lamb of God, that opening riff. You sort of heard the similarities there. I don't know if they'd sort of, that same bundle with a band like that. Like the video a lot. The sort of clown nurse in the asylum was quite disturbing, and it goes back to our favourite format, the performance and sort of cut scenes of different sort of characters involved in the video. I'd listen to that song again, whether I'd sort of want to hear a whole album, but of this particular band or get into them, I probably would say no. But I would like to sort of familiarise myself with that song and watch that video again because I did enjoy it.
So with the American Head Charge one, so the Faith No More comparison that some people have mentioned, there's a song called Just So You Know by American Head Charge. That would fit in the Faith No More catalogue as far as the style, vocalizations, very Mike Patton-ish in that sort of style. So that's probably where people are talking about it. That was off their next album after this one. For me, they've got one really good album, which was what this one came off of, because this has got a song called Seamless on it. You're interested that you mentioned Slipknot sort of comparison. So when they played live, Joey Jordison had to fill in on drums for a load of their shows. So he actually filled in and did it. And there is elements of Slipknot in it. I would actually put in influences like the industrial, like Marilyn Manson in there. You definitely hear a lot of that kind of twisted industrial, the Nine Inch Nails, Trent Reznor, that kind of area, and you can hear that influence coming through with them. I think the balance of guitars is right. I found it interesting that you said that you didn't like it because it sounds like a period of time, and it kind of anchors in it. I think it's right. It does anchor, and it sounds like an early 2000s, but I don't think that's a bad thing. Just the same as where new wave of British heavy metal bands sound like they're from the 80s. And a lot of new wave of British heavy metal bands that come out now still sound like they're in the 80s. But I don't think it's a bad thing to have something that sounds of that era, unless you're not keen on the music that came out of that era. That's probably so like where people get the glam rock bands that came out in the late 80s with Poison and stuff like that. Whenever they hear anything modern like that, they kind of reminds them of that era, and they're not a big fan of that era. So that might be the reason behind it. But I think bands that sound like the early 2000s metal that was coming, that crossover of the industrialization, some of the hardcore elements that were coming, I actually really enjoyed. I came into them quite late as well, so it was my guitarist that got me into them because his car. I had to listen to whatever he put on the CD player, and American Head Charge was one of the ones that came up. So, but yeah, it was weird. They went from playing big festivals, big arenas, to playing small little bars again. They kind of did this real kind of meteoric very quickly, and then dropped off within a 2-year period down to playing to literally 50 people in bars again. And it was very, very strange thing of how the tides changed on a lot of the metal bands. One thing I'm surprised you guys didn't pick up on, and it's only a very small thing from the Hertfordshire Hitchin scene. Did anyone pick up how the singer looks a little bit like our musical sin promoter Danny Robinson at all?
Possibly.
Now you say that, yeah.
A square jaw though, doesn't it?
If you put the glasses on, I was like, it does look a little bit like Danny on this in this video, but I don't know. Maybe it was just me that picked that one up. Yeah, Danny, the singer of American Head Charge. But yeah, any other, Kirk? You seem like you want to say a little bit of feedback there.
Yeah, I appreciate what you've said there, and you're right. I probably am projecting my prejudices against the entire musical ecosystem on MTV2 around that period. So yeah, it's always subjective, isn't it? But I think you're right. I should be drilling down deeper, looking into it in an individual song. Another band it reminded me of, what was that singer called? Terry B. She was in that band, My Ruin. Before that, were they called Tura Santana or something like that?
Tura Santana, and before that, they were called Manhole.
Manhole, that's it. Yeah, it had elements of that in it as well, didn't it? And as soon as that video came on, I was just thinking, here's a major label concern from the early 2000s. And you just said they went from playing stadiums to playing bars again. I'm not surprised, because they will have followed the decline of nu metal.
Yeah.
Because look at the shit that replaced nu metal. It was even worse. It was that crap rock and roll throwback, like what they call the White Stripes, the Strokes.
Yeah.
I fucking hated that music, and that ended up replacing nu metal, didn't it, on MTV2, and that became the new mainstream guitar sound, which was far inferior. So in some ways, maybe I should be grateful that at least there was some moderately heavy music in the mainstream. But that, to me, I am going to stand by what I said. That hasn't aged well. I don't think that is heavy.
Fair enough. Well, there we go on that bombshell. If you liked this video, please do like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on another video sometime very soon. Take care.